Hey, it's Tim here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Einstein inside of Tableau. Now, in the 2021 release, if I actually just go to the What's New with Tableau, you'll see that they spent a lot of time talking about Einstein. If I just go to this release, that was the thing that sort of got a lot of mind share. So I've been spending quite a bit of time figuring out how on earth do you get these things to work? How can someone just play around with this? How can someone start using this? And I've discovered over the last week that it's actually quite involved. If you've never sort of heard of Einstein before, expect this to be a long journey essentially, because you're going to have to learn quite a bit about the Salesforce platform, and you're also going to need to have access to the necessary parts of Tableau in order to try this. You can't just sort of switch it on and try it as per se. So it's not as easy to try as, let's say, a new feature like quick LODs where you can just download the product, open it up and try it out. So what I wanted to do in this video is just cover how do you get access to all the things you need in order just to try these things, okay? And it might be a long process, but I thought it was still worthwhile showing people what you need to do, okay? So the key features we're trying to sort of get access is Einstein Discovery in Tableau, Einstein Dashboard Extensions, and Einstein in Table Calcs, okay? And in order to do this, you need to have a certain level of prerequisites already set up. Now, if you go over to this documentation, I'll put a link in the description. Tableau actually highlights what you need. Essentially, you need access to Salesforce, a Salesforce license, one of these particular licenses, a Salesforce user account, that's obvious, and some admin access so that you can set up the analytical extensions, both from the Salesforce side and the Tableau side. So you can see these three things are the Salesforce requirements. And then if I go down here, you've got the Tableau license requirements. So you're going to need to be a creator or explorer. You're going to need to have an account on Tableau Online or server where these things are published. And then you'll need, again, admin access to enable the analytical extensions to work correctly once you publish up the workbook to the server. So it's quite an involved process. Honestly, your Salesforce admin and your Tableau server admin are going to need to collaborate to get through this thing. And I hope Tableau put out a resource or maybe some webinars showing how to do all this stuff so that it's really clear and easy. It would definitely take me some time to just get my head around it and learn it. And so it's not something that I feel comfortable doing just yet because I just don't know enough about Salesforce to be able to do that. That said, there is actually a way that you can get into all of these things and try it out. If you're willing to sort of take this long journey, then there's a way to do it, okay? The first thing you're gonna do is go to this particular Trailhead. Now, Trailhead is the platform in Salesforce that essentially trains people up. Think of it as the Tableau version of e-learning. If you're a Salesforce user, I'm sure you've heard of the Trailblazer program and you've definitely used Trailhead in some way or form. But if you're just using Tableau and you're new to Salesforce, this is the place to go to learn a lot about Salesforce. Now, the cool thing is there is actually a Trailhead program here that allows you to sign up for a Tableau CRM enabled developer edition. And the key thing here is that the developer edition will give you access to an entire Salesforce sort of backend as an admin, along with the Tableau CRM enabled on it, which is the key thing here. I actually had a Salesforce developer edition version, but it did not have Tableau CRM enabled. So I had to create a new org just to try the Tableau CRM enabled capabilities. And then you can go off and do all the various things. So follow this guide. It's really, really easy. Once you're there, once you're set up, you get your account, and you can see that I've actually completed this and it validates that everything is set up. It tells you to connect your org to Trailhead, and then you can start doing sort of the exercises. It's part of a larger Trailhead. So if I go to the quick start Tableau CRM, it actually walks you through all the different things. So you can see here that I completed it a few days ago, and it just shows you around the platform and you can begin to use it. Now, another thing to note here is this won't be the only thing you're going to need to do. You're going to need to do a bit more over time. So if you go over here to build and administer Tableau CRM, I highly recommend that before you even start sort of perusing Einstein Analytics, you really get familiar with this Trailhead. You can see that I only made the start on the first badge here, but there's actually quite a lot involved. And this is actually what's known as Tableau CRM. And this is why I think it's confusing, because this used to be called Einstein Analytics in the Salesforce world, but it's been rebranded as Tableau CRM. But you can actually go through the entire sort of Tableau CRM course without opening Tableau in the first place. Okay, so just real sort of mind maze if you're a Tableau user and you're trying to get into this. You won't really find information about this on the Tableau website. They'll link you off to Trailhead, but you need to sort of get your head around using Salesforce essentially credentials to do everything. Okay, once you've done that, that's only half the story. What you're gonna need is some access to a Tableau server or Tableau online instance, and that's a little bit more tricky because essentially a lot of what's going on here is going to be you working with the Salesforce. If you're using the Einstein extension, for example, you're going to need the ability to enable extensions capability on your Tableau Online or Tableau server instance. Now, if you're working in an organization and your server admin has done this for you, then great. But if you're just a sole individual looking to learn, how do you do that? Well, Tableau have their own version of the same thing. They have the Tableau Developer Program. And one of the quirks of Tableau Developer Program is that you actually get access to a Tableau online instance that you can use for development purposes. So this is a great way to learn, build extensions, build web data connectors, and really start to get familiar with how they work in a server sort of setting. Now, Tableau Online and Tableau Server are two different products, but the core technology works across both things. Essentially, online is hosted by Tableau and server is hosted by your own organization in their own data center, essentially. So you sign up to the Trailhead, you go through this, you fully understand everything, you work through it. Then you sign up to the Tableau Developer Program. That gives you an online instance that you can start to work with. And then you can actually start going through these steps and essentially making sure everything's in place that you can then start trying to do it. I highly encourage that you go through this build and administer Tableau CRM setup. It talks through quite a few things that you should sort of be familiar with generally in this space. And the other thing is that it will sort of set you up correctly. There's quite a lot involved when you come to sort of set up things like Einstein prediction. So if you go in through this program and you just go and search for the capabilities like Einstein predictions, again, there's other trailheads that will walk you through that and show you how to do all of that in a way that works really, really well. So I just wanted to do a simple guide because initially I was super excited about this, and I managed to, within a couple of hours, get my way through all of this stuff and find a way to get an extension working for Einstein Analytics. But in all honesty, I realized that my journey ahead is quite a long one. I'm going to need to get much, much more familiar with the Salesforce ecosystem in order to be able to really show how these two things work. So if you're a Salesforce admin or you're very familiar with Salesforce and you've used Einstein a lot, please comment down in the comment below. I'd love to know your opinion on how you think Einstein Analytics works for you, if you've used it inside of Tableau, and potentially if you don't know Tableau, but you do know a lot of Salesforce, well, hopefully I can help you get these two things working really, really well. So let me know in the comments if you're that kind of person. I'm more than happy to get stuck in and help. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video. I just wanted to do this video just showing you how you can sort of plot a path towards learning this capability for the future. And hopefully in the future, I'll be able to show you something to set this up. But in all honesty, Tableau have got a few videos on Einstein, but they show finished solutions. They don't show the sort of intricate setup. And so that's sort of my biggest criticism of this feature. We've seen a lot of polished, finished examples, but we're yet to see any sort of concrete, tangible examples of how to set it up. The documentation on this is pretty good. It's pretty clear how you work, but it has a lot of assumed knowledge from the Salesforce world, and it doesn't really call out the fact that you need to go to the Salesforce platforms and really get familiar with them. So maybe it's more being pitched towards Salesforce users more, which is probably why I'm not seeing all the messaging on this. But yeah, that's sort of the only critique with this particular feature. It's not a very accessible feature to get into, and given that it took up a lot of the mind share on the new releases, it's sort of it's actually quite inaccessible for most people who've been using Tableau for a while. But maybe that's to be expected with the Salesforce acquisition of Tableau. Maybe we just have to get comfortable with the idea that a lot of the features coming over the next few years might not be actually just for us. There might actually be a time where a lot of the features are being built for the Salesforce ecosystem and existing Salesforce customers rather than the existing Tableau user base. Who knows? Tableau has a new CEO, so maybe that direction might change. Maybe it might not. Who knows? Until the next video, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.